Hi everyone, I'm Joel Johnson. I'm the seed production technician here at the Native Seed Search Conservation Center Gardens. Today we're going to show you our process for how we harvest and save seed from wheat. What we have is Bart wheat, but this process is going to be the same for any wheat variety that you're going to be growing, whether you're saving it to build up your seed at home or whether you're growing a small stand to save for flour and baking. Our wheat is really ready to harvest, and as you can see from these stands here, we've been coming through and clipping each individual seed head as it's ready. And the reason that we're doing that is because since we're saving this for seed, we want to get each individual head at its peak maturity. If you're growing this for flour or baking at home, you don't need to take this long of a process because we've been going through this stand about every other day for the past 2 weeks. If you're growing a larger stand for baking, you can go ahead and cut whole stands of it at a time, and you don't have to wait quite as long to get the individual seeds. This is a sheaf that we cut about 2 weeks ago when some of them still were showing green in the stalks and the heads. But after about 2 weeks, the seeds have ripened up really nicely, and these are ready to be processed either as seed or as flour. And that's going to be a much faster way for you to process a larger stand of wheat if you're growing it for flour at home. Once the wheat sheaves have dried, these ones were cut 2 weeks ago and they're nice and brittle. They're ready for us to thresh, which is to knock the seed out of the seed head. The way I was taught to do this was to take the individual bundles and to interlace them kind of like your fingers so that all the heads are lined up right in the center. We've just got 2 of them here, but you could do this with many more bundles, and then line them up so the heads are all in one space. Then we'll wrap this. You can do this on a tarp, on a canvas, you could use a bed sheet, anything that'll capture the seeds as you knock them out. And we're gonna wrap this up so they don't go flying. Historically, a flail looked like a longer nunchuck, and that's what you would use to beat and knock these seed heads out. But you can use anything, and my new favorite tool is an old wooden tennis racket. It's got a nice handle, a good weight, and you're just gonna beat on these. You can step on them, anything to knock the seed out of the seed head, and then eventually you'll winnow those, you'll pour them in front of a fan, and we're gonna do another video taking you through that process to separate the seed from the rest of the lighter chaff. So wheat matures in 4 stages, and we already showed you in the field where we were cutting that you can either clip the individual seed heads at the final stage of maturity, or you can cut it a little bit earlier if you're going to cut at the base of the stalk. We're going to show you here the 4 stages of maturity so that you know what you're looking for in the field when you cut. The first stage is milky, and when the stalk is really green and you crush an individual seed kernel, you're going to see white juice come out of that kernel. The second stage is going to be a soft dough. Same thing, if you crush a kernel, it's going to start to feel tacky, sort of like bread dough. And then as it matures, it's going to move into a hard dough. And this is going to be the same feel as the soft dough, but a little bit firmer. And this is the stage at which you can cut at the base of the stalk and let it dry for 2 weeks. The final stage, if you're going to take only the seed head, is the mature seed kernel. This is really dry, and if you try to crush one of these kernels between your fingers, you can't do it with your fingers, and you may even have a hard time denting it with your fingernail. And how you can tell it's really ready is if you were to drop these kernels, they're going to clink, they're not going to be soft, and you're going to hear that when you drop an individual head. This is what we want for saving seed, and that's what you want if you're going to be baking or grinding flour, is that mature, fully formed seed head. Finally, when you're done harvesting, you can prep your bed for your next planting. What we did is come back after we harvested and we clipped this as low to the ground as possible. What that does is make a nice wheat straw mulch that we can plant beans right into next week. This is no-till, you don't need to turn anything. The roots are going to decompose in the soil and it'll be ready for you to plant as soon as possible. Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe and we'll be back soon with more garden updates.